Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Douillard and welcome to LifeSpa.com, where we prove the ancient medical wisdom of Ayurveda with modern science. And today I want to talk about one of the really important Ayurvedic herbs that has become really popular in recent times, called Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera. Somnifera means sleep, so it's that herb that both gives you energy to go run a marathon during the daytime, but it also has the ability to put you to sleep at night. So it's not a stimulant, it's not a sedative, it's a deep rejuvenative. And that's the beauty of this particular plant. There's so many studies on the adaptogenic benefits of ashwagandha. In some studies, if your cortisol levels, your stress hormones are low and you're depleted and exhausted, it'll boost those levels of cortisol for you. In other studies, if your cortisol levels are high because you're overstimulated and you can't sleep at night, it'll lower those cortisol levels for you. So it's very intelligent. And what's really interesting is that there are so many studies on ashwagandha. And there's a lot of talk on the web and on the internet these days that ashwagandha is a herb that is dangerous and people shouldn't take it. Well, let me explain why some people may have trouble digesting ashwagandha. Well, first of all, it's a warm, heavy, sweet root. It's harvested in the fall for winter rejuvenation and support for immunity. It's also a nightshade, so some folks don't have great strength of digesting nightshades. In fact, we have a culture of bubble wrapping our diet. When something doesn't feel right, you take it out: wheat, dairy, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, nightshades. We've done a really good job of taking most of the stuff that we don't feel good eating out of our diet, which obviously makes sense. You don't feel good eating it, why should you eat it? But you don't realize that many of those foods, the symptoms you get from those foods, are more of a canary in the coal mine saying, hey, you know what, my digestive process is getting weaker over time and I'm not able to get the nutrients that I need from my food. I'm not getting, therefore, the microbiome inoculation of a diverse microbiome that I should be getting. And you start to actually go down the road of feeling not well. And you blame it on the food. And that's what I've written. That's why I've written so many articles at LifeSpa.com for free. I have free ebooks on my website for learning how to reboot your digestion, troubleshooting your digestion, and fixing the upstream cause. My book, Eat Wheat, was really all about how to find out where the weak link in your digestion is and fixing it with foods and herbs and making sure you don't have that problem. I have not yet seen, I've searched all the databases for studies on the fact that ashwagandha is somehow harmful and it should be avoided. It doesn't provide hormonal activity. It has precursor support for building things like testosterone. But if you generally don't need it, you won't make it, which is why some studies show it increases testosterone and other studies show that it doesn't. And it's also really important to know that there's a difference between a whole herb and an extract. When you take an extract, number one, it's sterile and it's concentrated. So you're getting way more of a dose of that herb and those constituents than you would get normally just eating the root, putting it in your soups and stews the way it was traditionally eaten. Plus, when you sterilize it, it's sterile. There's no bugs, there's no microbes. And the microbes provide a level of intelligence for the plant, just like the microbes on your broccoli provide a level of intelligence for that broccoli. Believe it or not, they're called bacterial endophytes. And that bug on your broccoli or your herbs has an important role to play on the strength, immunity, longevity, growth rate, potency of that plant. Like if I took all the bugs out of you, you'd be a completely different person, right? So it's very important to realize that when you're trying to use herbs to help work with your body, not do the job for the body, you want to first think about using the whole plant with its natural occurring microbes, which means that the herb should obviously be organic and not sprayed by pesticides or somehow extracted and sterilized while it's soaked in alcohol, right? Not that those are bad necessarily, but if you super concentrate an herb and sterilize it, there oftentimes will be consequences. Just like the TV commercial, the drug commercials on TV, there's always going to be a side effect or a consequence for the benefit you get. You can get more medicinal benefit with an extract, but there oftentimes will be consequences or a side effect. Obviously with herbs, not as bad as with drugs, but they're still there. When you use the whole plant, you're going to use the whole plant, get the natural microbiome with it, inoculate your gut with the right bugs for the right season and the right benefits you're going to get, and you get a wider and more diverse microbiome, which is just so good for everything. So just be aware of that. If you're having trouble digesting and have issues with ashwagandha, reboot your digestion. You can read more about how to do that on my website at LifeSpa.com, all for free. You can we actually formulate our whole herb organic ashwagandha at LifeSpa with ginger to actually help it be digested, because it is a heavy herb and you need a strong digestion to digest it. So that's something to know about. But in terms of the safety of it, I searched and searched because I wanted to see if this was something that had any validity to it, and I really came up with nothing. The double-blind study showed that ashwagandha can actually reduce stress and anxiety compared to the placebo. Another study showed that it was neuroprotective. It increased cognitive function, attention, and actually helped support the retainment of information and the processing speed at which we do that. So many studies on the physical performance of ashwagandha, increasing muscle strength, muscle recovery, muscle endurance. It actually decreases the cell damage, the damage inside the cell from muscular contractions. In other words, cells break down when you use them, particularly muscle cells, and you have to rebuild them afterwards. But the ashwagandha protected those cells from damage. While it still gave you more endurance, strength, and stamina, which is pretty cool. It's been shown in a randomized double-blind trial to increase innate and adaptive immunity, so it's a powerful natural immune builder and booster. So many studies on this, but I think the most important takeaway with ashwagandha is it's a warm, heavy, sweet root harvested in the fall for a winter eating. A little heavy, a little heating for the summer, but if you need more energy, stamina, immunity in the winter, start taking the ashwagandha in September or October to get you ready for the winter immunity, the stamina, the mood stability that we all need more of, as we move into the winter months and the holiday months and flu season and all of that. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Check out the full article here at LifeSpa.com. While you're there, browse our Ayurvedic store with all of our organic herbs at LifeSpa.com. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard. Do you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe and share.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at LifeSpa.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.